Becoming a real estate agent is a little bit like becoming a lawyer without going to law school, or becoming a doctor without going to medical school. The reason I say this is because it typically takes only a handful of months in order to get your real estate license, and you're good to go. Go and sell houses. The big thing with this is that it really puts the onus on you, the realtor, to make sure that you have the appropriate skills and you actually know what you're doing. I see a lot of people get into this business and start selling homes and not really focus on improving their skills whatsoever. So what this means is that they sell maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 homes in 1 year, they feel confident in their abilities, and they continue at that same pace with that same level of skill for the rest of their careers. Now, sure, they're gonna pick up a few things here and there, they're gonna learn a couple of things, they're going to improve at a very slow rate. My issue with this is that, do you want to have an okay career, or do you want to have a great career? Because I'm sure if you're watching this, you know about the statistic that 80% of the time agents don't make it. Why is that? That comes back to the fact that a lot of people are thrown into the business and they're not really prepared for what it's going to take. So you have to make sure that you're taking the time to really learn the business and make sure that you're going to be successful, not at just a low level, but at a high level. And to give you an example, back to kind of what I was saying about an agent doing a few deals a year and then sticking with those skills. Let's say you get into the business and in your first year you do maybe 5 deals. You might have had a few learning opportunities where in those handful of deals you had a couple of mistakes and you said, you know what, I'm not going to repeat these mistakes again. I'm going to make sure that I do better. The problem is that there's so many mistakes that you can make in real estate that you're never going to stop learning. So we want to stay ahead of mistakes as much as we can, because with real estate, they can really cost a lot. You're selling somebody's biggest asset. It's not a car, it's not something minor, it's a house. For a lot of people, their house represents their #1 biggest investment that they're ever going to make, and it's a huge deal. And making mistakes with something that big, it costs them quite a bit. You're not going to be getting referrals from them. You might even get a bad review, and it might derail your career to an extent, especially if there is any kind of liabilities or anything like that. We 100% want to avoid that because, hey, if you're selling homes, you don't want to deal with illegal stuff. That's not fun. Let's make sure that we stay on the right track and we're selling homes and we're doing it right and we're making sure we're meeting all the expectations. We're not getting into kind of trouble that's going to derail us. This is why I tell all the newer agents that I meet that they should really treat real estate in their first couple of years as a university education. Now, I know it sounds a little bit silly, and I don't like university. I did it. I never want to do it again. I'm done with it. But if you want to be a good realtor, you really have to do that. And simply going out and meeting people and selling homes isn't going to cut it. You should be learning every single community in the city, when homes were built, how much they're selling for, what people's options are, what the pros and cons of every single area are. You want to know the construction side of things. You want to know, how is a home built? What is the roof made out of? What are the pros and cons of asphalt shingles? What kind of plumbing is in the home? What kind of inspections could we do on a given property to make sure that our client is 100% covered? And these are things that unless you go out there and you really aim to learn them, they're not going to come to you. So you're probably thinking, Slav, how do I have time for this? I'm out, I'm prospecting, I'm selling houses, I'm writing paperwork, I'm staying out of trouble, I'm doing all these things. How the heck am I ever going to have time to learn any of this? I can't go to university. Not saying that you need to spend university level time on learning real estate. What you should be doing is once a day in the morning for 30 to 60 minutes, set aside a few topics that you want to learn in more depth and make sure to time block that time and just spend it really learning those things. For instance, it's Tuesday, it's 9 a.m. I'm going to spend 45 minutes learning about the different kinds of plumbing materials, and then I'm going to brush up on the communities in the south of Calgary because I want to make sure that I know the pros and cons of every single area. It doesn't sound like much, but if you do this for every single day out of the year, well, let's say minus 20 or 30, because you're going to take some time off, I'm sure. You're going to add so much information and skill to your repertoire over a long period of time that it's going to compound to quite a bit. You guys should check out the book, The Compound Effect. The guy that wrote it is a big believer in doing little chunks over a very long period of time with consistency and really progressing in the right direction through that method. I've really taken this to heart, and that's why every morning I still get up and I still do the learning about various parts of real estate because I always want to be improving. And if you do this, and if you're consistent And if you don't give up, over 5 to 10 years, you're going to accumulate so much more information than somebody who didn't do any of that. It's going to be crazy. You're going to be able to chat with other agents that didn't take the time to properly hone their craft, and you will see that the gap between your knowledge and their knowledge is vast. And that is going to help you have a very long career, and clients see this. When they see that you know exactly what you're talking about and that you're a true professional, they want to work with you. They're going to be the ones calling you. You don't have to call them. This is where you really truly build a great career and where you're going to have a much easier time in the business. So really treat your first couple of years in the business as getting a university education. It will improve your career so much.